Good morning, everyone. Am I alive? Welcome to another episode of Hard Talk Show. Today is 2020, September 14th, Monday, noon, San Francisco time. And am I alive? I think so. Video check, audio check. So we are going to do Emacs Lisp. Okay, let me show you the background image. Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video info. Wow, what the heck. Concurrent view dropped to 3. What is going on? So am I here? Can you guys hear me? Type something. Hey, Bart and Alan. Okay, so we are going to do Emacs Lisp coding plus tutorial, and let me show you this keyboard, this background image. So I just found out this keyboard today. This is actually an input device for video editing and Photoshop. So I found 3 versions of it. This is made by what's called Loop Deck, something like that. So there is this version, and then there's a slightly different one, this version, and then a fancy version. I'm not sure those are displays, probably so. So I found, so this one is for Adobe Lightroom 6 and Lightroom CC. Lightroom is a photo editing software, kind of like Photoshop, but not exactly. You cannot edit images, you cannot add text and so on. It's just for photos. Anyway, it's a kind of photo editing software, Adobe Lightroom, and there are several versions. So this input device is designed for Adobe Lightroom 6 and CC. You have to check the exact version, because otherwise it doesn't work. I mean, either it's Lightroom CC or Lightroom Classic or Lightroom 6. So you have this Loop Deck. This is theoretically, this is fantastic, because instead of doing knob and wheels, you can just let me show you. Okay, so let me show you. Let me start. For example, let's look up this photo. Okay, so this photo, and let's open in GIMP. So this is in Emacs. Yes, Emacs can view images, and you see, close it. So open it, open in GIMP. So you see, when you are in a photo editing software, you have lots of controls, and you use mouse or keyboard to switch to different controls, and those are tedious. So you see, we have Photoshop. So you click on that if you want to, what is this, transform or something. Then you click that, you have the smudge tool. Then you have to switch tools, then you have to adjust these, too many adjustments. So with this kind of device, you just twist the knobs and sliders. It's fantastic. And then this version, Loop Deck Plus, this is for Adobe Lightroom Classic, and it's also for Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, Photoshop with Camera Raw, and a few other applications. So this one is for image editing plus video editing. Okay, so am I like alive? Oh, I am. Okay, good. Alan and is Weasel. Okay, so this one, Loop Deck, is for image editing with Lightroom, certain version of Lightroom, but this version is for image editing and plus video editing, specific to particular applications: Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, Lightroom Classic, and so on. I looked at the reviews on Amazon. They are no good. They are fairly expensive. like this one is $170, okay, $180, and the other one is similar. And the review says, they are made in China. They are cheaply made. This one is 250. They are cheaply made. If it works, it's fantastic. I mean, this is really fantastic. But the product is very cheaply made. And this one, I haven't looked at the reviews yet. I just discovered them today. This one is $550. So these companies, I said this many times. A input device like this with tons of sliders and knob wheels, physical, sliders and knob wheels, they are wonderful. Instead of the keyboard nerd fucks, the keyboard nerds, they say, oh, you need a 40% keyboard, or you shouldn't use the mouse. These fucking idiots, these Emacs and Vim and Unix people, they have no idea what they're doing. You shouldn't use the mouse. You should. You should use the mouse. You should, depending on what kind of input you do. They are input devices specific designed for them, meaning that it will make it supremely efficient. For example, mouse, there is so many different designs and wheels and buttons. So in particular for Photoshop, for video editing and image editing, and also 3D editing, if you use Blender, there's lots of professions doing that. You need those things. So anyway, so I looked at this. So the first two is cheap. I don't know what's the review for this one, but you see, these people, apparently today you go to Amazon, there are quite a lot of these, designed for Photoshop or video editing. These people see a market, and they create it, and people buy it, and they sell it extremely expensive. This one is $550. But normally if it's, they market, that's due to marketing. They sell for $500. But let me show you some of the other photo editing devices. For example, this one we talked about before, and this one, and this one, and this one. So this one is for Photoshop too, and I look at the Amazon reviews. It's okay. So this one, you want to get this one. And then let's see, then this jog wheel and shuttle ring, those are classic since 1990s. So if you do video editing, it's necessary. It's extremely efficient. Then you have this, this tangent ripple. They sell, this is for what you call, this is for video editing, for the task of color grading. I don't know what it is, but I looked, basically they change the color of the images in a video, and they sell. This one is, for example, $350, and they have more expensive versions that sells for this one $3,000. But this thing doesn't really cost $3,000. You see, we have basic economics here. The thing of a value. How do you judge the value of a thing? The value of a thing is equal to how much money other people are willing to pay. That is actually that is true. So you might think, no, that's silly. What do you mean depends on how much other people have to pay? Actually, that is like that. So anyway, this thing sells for $3,000, and people will buy it, because people, professionals, they do video editing, they buy it. So when you look at this thing, contrast, when you look at this, you see, we are programmers. So this video editing and Photoshop, image editing, they are outside of our community. But people are willing to buy this kind of thing, But when you look at this thing, then you go back and compare to your community's mantras and chants about, Emacs and VI and not using the mouse. No, you shouldn't use the mouse because you should use Vim Tactile or what the fuck. These people, fuckheads, they are extreme idiots. They have no brain. Because when you compare, you can see what's with the theory that you should only use keyboard, because that's nonsense. When you look at this, then you know it's nonsense, because then you might say, oh, because they are doing GUI. No, that's not just because of that. Okay, you can make your Emacs and or Vim GUI as well if you really want to go with efficiency. Okay, anyways, a bit rant. So anyway, so I'm just showing you some of the devices I found, video editing and Photoshop editing, and I'm saying that these, specific tools for specific tasks, this will make it much more efficient, make your, and so let's go back to where I was saying. Okay, hello everyone. So my friend's dog is barking. I don't know what's going on. So let's go back to Emacs. So what's today's deal? So okay, you can go to my XR keyboard, just search for XR keyboard and click on XR keyboard blog, and you'll find my articles. And today, by the way, today I found this strange thing called switch opener for key switches. I have no idea what it is. It's pretty strange. So they have this prism shaped thing for key switch opener. I have no idea what that is. I have to read in detail, read the comments and so on, for keyboard key switches. So anyway, let's start coding Emacs Lisp. Okay, my JavaScript stuff. So much. I've been working so much on JavaScript in the past week. So Alan says, have you seen Alfred app? Yes, I know it, but I have not tried it. What is your opinion on automation in general? One key triggers several actions. Yeah, that is fantastic. Let me tell you, I'm the master of automation since 1992. Okay, so let me give you a brief intro of my history of computer using and automation. So since 1990, so my first personal computer that I bought with my own money, I own, is Mac 2SI. I can show you some photos. Mac 2SI. Okay, Apple. So this is 1992. I bought it for $1,000 or $2,000. Anyway, this plus the Apple RGB monitor, 13 inches, 640 by 480 pixels. So remember, this is 1992. You got a RGB monitor, 13 inch. That's kind of top of the line. And that's only 640 by 480 pixels. So together with this machine, it's $3,000. So this is my first computer. So I've been a Mac user from 1991 to 2009. Then I switched to Linux for a while, Windows for a while, Linux for a while, and about 3 years ago I'm back on the Mac. So in the past 30 years, you look, just like today, you read about news and everything, debates, controversies, which one is better, Windows or Mac. Throughout 1990s, it's Windows versus Mac. Every month, every year, you have articles, debating, people argue about it. Then Linux came along. So anyway, so back in 1992, Mac is it's far more superior than Windows, like far more. Period. Today it's maybe a little bit, but back then it's far more. superior than Windows, because Windows, and back then you have DOS. Okay, that's just text. You don't even have graphical user interface. You don't have drawing apps. Then after a few years you do have, then Windows 95, Windows 3 came up, and so on. And Linux is the most idiotic fuck to this day, graphical user interface or not, because they are idiots. These nerds people. Why is Linux that way? Because these people, because they have no brain, and they will argue the with you to the end. Like right now, you can see on my video comments, some Linux people, these nerds, idiots, they saw my video and they feel angry. They will have, sometimes they will comment, oh my god, this, I love your stuff, but today you are so wrong. No, you are an idiot. Okay. It's kind of a sad story. So anyway, back to automation. So in 1991, I created, back then Mac doesn't have Dvorak keyboard built in. So I used res edit. Okay, I talked about this before. Res edit. That is a tool on a Mac. EDIT. Yeah, they don't have the. Yeah, here. Okay, here is the classic. Here is the icon of res edit. This is what it looks like. Okay, wait. Is it here? So res edit. So I used res edit to create a Dvorak keyboard layout in 1992 on the Mac. That's when I began to use Dvorak layout. Actually, I began in 1994. I was a QWERTY typer. And back then, there is a tool. This is universally agreed to be the best tool, automation. You could say it's still the best, but anyway, that tool is called oh God, it's been so long. Let's go to my keyboard page. Maybe I have it listed there. It's a long history. So let's go to software. Then let's go to Mac keyboard tools. So on this page is an introduction of the several keyboard key binding tools, keyboard layout tools, or automation tools. They are all related. So the best one is actually just Carabiner, or there are several. The Mac OS itself allows that, allows several basic maneuvers for key binding and shortcuts. So anyway, this page is introduction to them all, because I looked into them every year since 1992. Okay. But things change, all these software come and go. But anyway, so let me tell you about app launcher. So Quicksilver is one of the earliest. It came up around 2002 when Mac OS X, the Unix based one, came up. So 2002, Quicksilver. And there's Alfred. This is new. I never used. Hammer Spoon, I never used. Keyboard Maestro is also pretty old now. It came up around 2005. Okay. Then default, this one you should. This one is built in Mac OS. You should try it out, because this one is about creating your own editing command layout. For example, like Emacs, move cursor, copy paste. You can actually create your own, built in Mac OS. So you can read this tutorial and you'll see it. Okay, so back to keyboard tools. So anyway, on this page I give you an intro. Okay. Then there's USB overdrive, which is kind of the USB tool that kind of transform the USB signals to do something else. I have used that. That's pretty good. And keybinder, so controller mate, I have not used, but I've heard great things about them. Okay, so So there is this tool back in 1992. 1992. It's on this page for many years, but I removed it because what's the name of the tool? Let me think about it. Um, does anyone remember? No, it's not auto hotkey. Okay, but auto hotkey is on Windows. Auto hotkey is Windows thing, and the auto hotkey came around 2007, around there. Auto hotkey was based on another thing called auto key or something. But anyway, that's a Windows thing. But let me tell you, so if on Windows, auto hotkey is the best, kind of the most powerful and best thing. It's actually it's tremendous hack. It's not actually that great, but practically speaking, that's the best thing you have on Windows. So if you are on Windows, if you want to control your keys via the operating system, then use auto hotkey. Okay. So I have, for example, I have the, you click on Windows here, then you have the introduction to all possible Windows software tools for key binding related things. Okay. But let's go back to the Mac because I want to remember the tool. Let me think for a few seconds. I can't remember. So I'm talking about history. So anyway, this tool, well, I need to get the name first before I actually talk about it, because this tool has 30 years of history. It's still around. I removed it because first of all, I need to find the name. Okay, so so what we do is actually we just open this page. Okay, magnify, change it into a URL. So this is the URL. Now I want to go to Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine. So let's go to Chrome. Open a new window. Wayback Machine. Okay. So we are going to look at the archive page of my website. I hope I didn't change the file name. So I must have changed the file name. So the earliest instance is 2012. Okay, where is it? Let's see, 2013. Okay, there. So let's look at my page from 2013 January. This is interesting. When you write a article or a blog, over the years, things change. If you don't change your article, then it bit rots. It becomes irrelevant, even though it technically is still relevant. But you have to change. You have to keep changing actually. But the other thing is, anyway. So anyway, this is how my page looks like back in 2011. This is not so I have the article since 2011. So back then, I don't have images. Images is for marketing. I give you the gist of the information. You read it. That's the 20 years of experience. Then you follow the links to download them. But if you don't have images, you'll notice, because Google and all these companies, they push for marketing, link clickbait and so on. So if you don't have images, people don't visit your site. Because Google search doesn't show your site, things like that. So that is why today's website, they are all crap. Every website, they look so pretty. These fucking JavaScript frameworks. Every website looks so pretty, but there's empty content. You look at the fucking garbage. Millennials, okay, we blame this. If we find a generation to blame, that's the millennials. Millennial generation made this happen. Partly because the internet, it's a new era. Okay, nobody knows what's really going on, but that's how things are, how things turned out. So anyway, back then, back in 2011, my page app launchers. Okay, so keyboard Maestro is still there. You can see. Let's magnify. Okay. Okay, so quick keys. There it is. Quick keys. Quick keys existed since 1992. It is the best automation tool, bar none, on any operating system, on any platform. And even back in 1992, it's the best automation tool of them all. It can record keyboard macros, it can record mouse macros, okay, back in 1992. Okay, this is, so it's, you know, among Mac users, everyone agrees this is must-have tool. It's by the way, back then it's not open source. It's not there yet. Open source didn't begin in 1997 or so. You pay for it, you know. So quick key, that's the best tool. Okay, far better than AutoHotkey. But so the company actually changed hands over the years. You know, that's the history of companies. You know, companies change and the source code change and the quality degrade and so on. It happens. So quick key, it's for Mac OS, but when in around 2002, when Mac OS X, the Unix based, you know, Mac OS came out, so quick key, you know, doesn't run anymore. You have to rewrite it, you know, for Mac OS X. So it took them like 2 years, kind of late to do it, and also by then it's sold to Starly.com. Let's see if they are still around. Quick key. Okay, open a new buffer, search for quick key. Yeah, okay, I guess it's still around. I'm not sure there are many people using it anymore. Anyway, so this is the best tool back in the 1990s, and the company changed hands many times. The Mac OS X version was not that great. Actually, it's not good. And you know, so do they still sell it? I guess. Okay, so that's that quick keys. Okay. So yeah, so I've been using automation tools since 1992. If there's a application or a launcher, or you know, let's say from throughout 1990s to let's say 2010, I've seen them, I've tried them all. You know, I tried, I review, because I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed about this automation and efficiency. I'm an efficiency nerd, extreme one. So if you are a Linux fanatics or Emacs, go fuck yourself. You don't know shit. And you know, you can quote me on that. Okay, that's not a joke. You don't know shit when you want, you know, when you, if you want to argue about with me about 40% key binding or this, have you tried? You know, my life is argument. I've done that many times, and they don't know shit. These tech geeking nuts, fuckheads. Okay, so that's about quick keys. So what are we doing? I don't know. So you know, maybe I should go back to. Shall we start to do Emacs Lisp coding? I don't know. We already talked about keywords for long. 30 minutes. Okay, we still have time for Emacs. So let's see. So have you seen Alfred? Yes, I haven't used it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me, since we are talking about this, let me continue about give you some opinions. So why haven't I tried, you know, the Alfred, the Hammer Spoon, and some others? Well, because things changed, you know, the technology, the landscape changed, you know, things changed. Today it's open source, right? Open source is everywhere. You usually don't pay for things, and many of the open source tools are great. So that's part of the reason I removed quick keys from my website, from this intro page, because I haven't been using it since like for over 10 years now. It doesn't make sense to say, oh, I use quick keys, since 1990s. You see, so here is interesting thing about writing an article online and what happens to it over 30 years. There are many issues. Like if I keep the passage about quick keys, then that changes the nature of this page. You see, back then, the nature of this page is introducing to the users many great tools. But if you have a tool there, after 30 years, you haven't been using that tool for over 10 years. Then even if you haven't edited the page, but the nature of the page changed, the nature of the page becomes now history. So the page becomes a history of automating keyboard automating tools. So the nature of the page changed, even if you haven't edited the page. So there are things like that. So if you are writing a blog, there's lots of issues to deal with. Anyway, so why haven't so that's why I removed that quick keys tool. My paragraphs about quick keys. But what about Hammer Spoon and Alfred? I haven't used them because let me give you a tip. Okay, today I recommend do not use. I mean, you can still use them, but the best thing is to buy a programmable keypad. Okay. Now I showed this many times. I have to show it again. My keyboards. Okay, let me show you my current keyboard. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, so I can actually. So you see, so Kinesis keyboard, Kinesis Advantage 2. Let's see, Kinesis Advantage 2 and Ultimate Hacking Keys. Now this keyboard is all about shortcuts. Okay, so for example, I can switch to last app, and I can switch tabs. Switch tab back and forth, and close it, reopen it, refresh. Fantastic. Okay. So that's the ultimate hacking keyboard. Okay, I'm using it as a macro keypad. That keyboard has the best programmability features. Let's put it back there. Okay, so what I'm saying, yeah. So I recommend you buy. Okay, let's go back to my keyboard page. You buy a programmable keyboard because technology keeps improving. So today you have tons of these great, powerful, flexible, programmable keyboards. You program the firmware, so they send whatever your macros directly to the operating system, as opposed to if you program using those tools, quick keys or whatever. You press a key, then your Mac OS interpret it, then it transform it, then send it to the application. So it's like indirect, and that always have glitches. Auto hard key on Linux, X mode map or whatever Linux, fucking idiotic Linux, fuck Linux, Linux story. Linux is truly the worst fuck possible. Let me digress. Okay, Linux. You might think. When I try to do key binding on Linux about almost 10 years ago now, I thought Linux would be the greatest operating system for someone to customize their keys via the operating system tools, because Linux is geeks operating system, right? You have X11, X mode map, you have several tools, and if you are a programmer like me, a nerd, I know Linux, I know Unix, I know Shell, Bash, and all that. So you should be able to. It should be more powerful, most powerful, and most flexible. Linux, okay. So I spent several years doing Linux key binding. It turns out it's the most worth fuck possible compared to Windows or Mac. On the Mac, If you want to, automate, change key binding, create shortcuts, create a new key out, it's most easy, the most easy of them all. Also free, and often the software also is open source. On Linux, on Windows, is the second best. Okay, you just install hotkey, auto hotkey. You have to spend quite some time to learn it, and that does everything basically. Auto hotkey is the most powerful. Okay, on Windows. On Linux, it's one fucked up fuck the Linux people, fuck you, fuckheads, the idiots. They Linux people, they drivel these nerds about all these different tools, 1,000 tools, extremely complex to understand. Shell, Xset, X11. Then but it turns out it's the most difficult to do. You spend on Mac, you spend, let's say, 1 hour to do all your key binding needs. You learn the tool and everything. Let's say 1 hour. On Windows, it will be 5 hours. On Linux, it will be something like 50 hours. Okay, no exaggeration for doing the same thing. You spend 50 hours to learn all the tools, not just the fucking fuck you, fuck Linux. Okay, this opinion came from I learned it the hard way, because I was on Linux as my home desktop. I tried to, have my key binding system, I learned the hard way, little by little, over 3 or 4 years, to write all these articles. It's the worst fuck possible. So Mac just turns out the great, Mac just like 30 years ago. Mac turns out the way Mac is designed, their system, their developer community, it's just good. It just works. So anyway, so back to what I was saying. I recommend today you buy, instead of using the operating system based software for key binding or key macros or keyboard layout, you buy a programmable keyboard or programmable keypad instead. Okay, there are several good choices. So this one is fancy for Photoshop. You want, for example, this one. Okay, you can get that one or that one. Quite a few. You have to look. Okay, or this do it yourself. Once using QMK, one of the best software, the most powerful to do what you want. Or you can buy a ultimate hacking keyboard like this. This is my ultimate hacking keyboard I just showed you. You can use it as a macro keypad. Okay, so that's it. That's about it. So how long have I been talking? I guess no Emacs then. We've been talking for too long about keyboards. Yeah, let's not do Emacs because then when I'm done with this video, the title will be keyboard, key binding, stuff. It wouldn't be something plus something else, because then Emacs people will not be interested in keyboard stuff, and keyboard people will be not interested in the Emacs stuff. Okay, what else? Alan says Ripper hotkey. Bart says, okay, never used it. I just heard about it a lot. So many people love it. Auto hotkey, yeah, that's a Windows thing. During intensifies, just works. Yes. Okay. That's it for today. I guess that's it for today. Anything else? Okay. You can type anything you want. I'll read and answer possibly. We shut down in 5 minutes probably. So I'm just going to talk random about keyboards. Okay, now. So go and buy a programmable keypad. Now let me tell you which to choose. Okay, there are so many different choices. I would say for most of you, you want let's see, how do I recommend it? It's hard to give one recommendation, okay, because they are quite different. For example, this ultimate hacking keyboard. Now this is $250. Are you really going to spend $250 for this as a keypad? Yeah, maybe you would, so but if you are just going to buy a keypad, this is too big. For me, I haven't even used the other half. I only use half of them, and many are empty keys. And plus, when you have lots of keys, you don't want them all to be together. You want them rather, for example, like that. You want them to be different shapes and in different positions, so that you can, without looking, you can feel, you can look at your screen and operate on it without actually having to look at your keyboard. So this, for example, this design is not too bad. For example, these 6 keys on the right and 6 keys on the left, you can feel it. And also these 3 knobs on the right and 3 knobs on the left, you can just feel it without looking. Now these buttons in the middle, you will have some problems with the middle buttons. You see, that's an issue. So when you have a keyboard, if you have a keypad like that, that's a problem. Unless you put your hands on it, you learn touch typing. Otherwise, you got a too many keys in the same shape problem. So anyway, this one is $250. So it's very good. It's one of the best, but it's $250 if you want to spend that much on a keypad. So, and this one, otherwise, I highly recommend, I think the physical design of these things are the fantastic, the best. Okay, that's the best. However, this turns out to be cheaply made in China, and also it's not general purpose. It's, for example, this is only for Adobe Lightroom. You cannot program it in Emacs or for controlling browser. You cannot. So that's so it's not general purpose. And this one, I think the same thing applies. It's not general purpose. So that means you have a hard time if you really, if you want to use this as a general purpose key macro device, you have to hack it. Yeah, I don't suppose it's easy. It's the source code is probably closed. Maybe, I don't know. But otherwise, if you look at just the physical shape, these are the best. Okay. Now let's hope someone open source create something like this. You can use it with open source QMK software. That would be the best. Now this one, for example, it's also great, but it's only got 12 keys. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 15 keys. 15 keys, and they got a LCD display on them, which is kind of fancy. Not that many keys, but and it's then you have this one 32 keys. Okay, so these 32 keys has the problem of having a grid regular uniform keys. So it's easy to press, for example, the 5 keys on the edge, the 4 keys on the edge, and plus maybe that one. But the ones in the middle, you have to look at it, so that's not good. And okay, and they got a display in the middle. Okay, so this one is something like $150, I think. Okay, so depends on what and this one is similar. Okay, this also got a LCD display similar to that one. This one is great. It's not expensive. It's from China and it's cheap, $54. But the software is not that great. It comes with a Windows software and not open source. So you have to run the software to program the keys. Then you can throw away the software. Then you can use the keyboard on Windows. But the software is not that great. And the programmability is kind of limited. Yeah, but $50. This one is the same like that one. They are made by the same company, the Coolertron. Then you have, for example, this butter stick. Now this butter stick, is do-it-yourself. You can buy from this guy, great guy who gave me the Google keyboard. Let me show you. You see, I have my keyboard collections now. You can see my Google keyboard. Let's see where how does it work. Yeah, you see, so it's made by that guy who created, the same guy who created butter stick. And then this is a Googleplex. Okay, so how the, yeah, Googleplex. So you see, so okay, but what I want to say is that the butter stick suffers the same problem of uniform keys, too many keys in a uniform position. For example, if you want to press the left 4 keys or the right 4 keys, that's easy. You can do it by touch, but not the middle. For example, these 4 keys in the middle. Yeah, butter stick, but it's got the most powerful software, QMK. Then you have this one. Okay, this one is classic. It existed since like 20 years ago, but the software is kind of dated. It's I don't know if it's still available. Yeah, $90. It's kind of expensive. The software is kind of old, and also it's got too many keys, uniform key problem, you see. So it's hard to press many of the keys in the middle. It becomes wasted because then you have to look at it. Then this one, the reviews are not so great. This is modern, okay, but the review isn't so great. Then this is also classic. This is like 30 years ago. The company existed 30 years ago. X keys, okay. You can buy it. Okay, 150. Yeah, way expensive, way more expensive than necessary. If you're gonna spend 150 on this one, I rather recommend you buy. They also have like 60 keys versions. Anyway, so if you're gonna spend 150 on this one, I rather recommend you buy this. This is much cheaper, and the QMK software is far more powerful. Okay, I think that's it about keyboard. So again, let me repeat. Okay, if you want automation, you want to create keyboard macros for efficiency, for automation, I recommend you buy a programmable keyboard. Okay, where here you buy a programmable keyboard or programmable keypad. Okay, like some of these I suggested. Now, but if you don't have money, or you on your laptop, you don't have choice to have a physical device, then use software. Okay, on Linux you have several tools. You have Xmode map. You have there's a guide of them all. Xmode map. Then you have scan code, key code, key sim. You have, what's the tool? Xbind keys, WM control, fucking complex Linux, fuck. Then on the Mac, anyway, so yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Bye guys. Cough in mouse says unable to acquire the xlisp front end lock, var lib lock front end. Are you root? What? June Honey says, I've had the same Cherry keyboard I bought in 2008. Still works fine. There is one thing I want to just, I just remembered one thing. Um, on the programmable keypad, okay, you see, we're talking about programmable keypad, and there is this guy. This guy is old school. They've been around for, I think, 30 years. And you know what? They just bought. Let me show you this trackball. This trackball, L track, is sold to that company, X Keys. So X Keys now makes this trackball. Now this is the highest quality trackball. Okay, that's it. Bye guys. So you go to my website, go to my keyboard, buy my stuff. Thank you, and donate stuff and stuff. Bye. Uh, Alan says Kinesis Advantage 2 still the best. Not necessarily. That depends. That depends quite on a few things.